The federal opposition is demanding further explanation about why the government has decided not to pursue a deal with Johnson & Johnson on its COVID vaccine. Overnight, the government announced it was ending negotiations with the company because it's the same type of vaccine as the AstraZeneca product, which will be produced by the tens of millions here in Australia. Political reporter Matthew Doran has more from Parliament House in Canberra.
There is very little detail at this stage other than a statement from the Health Minister Greg Hunt's office that was issued to the ABC last night, saying that the government believes that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which is an adenovirus type vaccine, is too similar to the AstraZeneca vaccine. The same sort of makeup or technology being used there to administer the vaccine into Australians, potentially into Australians in this case, and that the government had no plans to purchase any more types of adenovirus vaccines at this stage. So this development has come after only just a couple of days after the Federal Health Secretary Brendan Murphy said late last week that Australia was in negotiations, was in discussions with Johnson & Johnson about their vaccine. There were a number of factors with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine that seemed like it would be quite a popular choice, chief among them being the fact that it is a single dose vaccine as opposed to the 2 doses required with the Pfizer vaccine and the AstraZeneca vaccine. And at a time when more pressure is being put on the Pfizer vaccine to do some of the heavy lifting with that new health advice saying that Australians under 50 should seek out the Pfizer vaccine. It is the preferred vaccine for that age group as opposed to the AstraZeneca vaccine. Some had been suggesting maybe the Johnson & Johnson vaccine could also come into the mix and take some of that pressure off the Pfizer doses. There are 40 million Pfizer doses on order. Only 1 million doses have arrived in Australia so far. That's in addition to the 50 million doses or more than 50 million doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine that are on order, including those being made domestically at the CSL plant in Melbourne, and the Health Department and Health Minister Greg Hunt spruiking the fact that there will be a third vaccine, the Novavax vaccine, which will come online in the second half of this year, but one that does not have TGA approval at this stage. So this Johnson & Johnson vaccine won't be forming part of the vaccine rollout at this point in time, with the government saying that it doesn't plan on buying that technology and using it here locally.
So, Matthew, how does this announcement play into the broader debate about delays in the vaccine rollout?
Well, we're talking about international supply chain pressures and the fact that with that Pfizer vaccine, only 1 million of the 40 million doses on order have arrived in Australia. There are going to be further criticisms levelled at the government, suggesting that they need to be diversifying their vaccine portfolio and ensuring that they can pick up whatever vaccines are A, proven to be effective, and B, can get into the country very quickly. We, of course, know that over the weekend, late on Sunday afternoon, in fact, the Prime Minister posted on Facebook saying that he was scrapping Australia's vaccine targets. That was after the government had missed the initial target of 4 million doses being administered to Australians by April. We're only a fraction over 1 million doses at this stage, and the Prime Minister had previously said he wanted all Australians to receive at least their first dose of the vaccine by October. He's now saying he hopes that that will happen by the end of the year, but arguing that there are too many moving pieces in the vaccine rollout and is refusing now to put those hard and fast timeframes on the vaccine rollout. That is something that Labor has seized upon this morning. The Shadow Health Minister, Mark Butler, speaking to ABC News Breakfast, saying that in combination with this announcement about the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, the government is failing to properly communicate its timeframes and its plans to the Australian public, which are only going to harm not only the ongoing health response to the COVID-19 pandemic, but also the economic recovery after all of those plans over the last year or so have had to be shelved.
We just need clearer answers from the Minister and the Prime Minister than we are getting. 1 million is simply not enough doses. The Americans are up to almost 190 million compared to our 1 million. The UK, 40 million, 60% of their adult population vaccinated. They're in a very strong position to deal with the possibility of mutations or variants to this virus needing booster shots later this year. And their economy, their jobs will recover much more quickly than Australia's if we're left behind with this third-rate vaccine rollout.